Good day, everyone. It's Drone Dave here. So I have, as you can see, this is called the Swell Pro Splash Drone 4. This is the receiver. Nice bright orange color, your typical receiver. With this one, it's actually waterproof. So, and my phone is waterproof, which is great because you can take this out on a boat, go fishing in the rain, snow. And the drone, as you can see here how it looks, it's much larger than your typical DJI Phantom or Maverick type drones. It's all waterproof. Here's the rotors, or excuse me, the motors. If you're gonna fly in salt water, just make sure that you rinse thoroughly these motors because of corrosion. You don't want that to corrode your motors, right? And as you can see, I have these floats on here, which I bought extra. It can land on the water and drive on the water like a boat, but with the floats here, the styrofoam gives it that extra buoyancy, and it elevates a little bit higher on the water, top of the water. So it's great to have, and it gives that extra cushion for landing purposes as well. Here is the antennas. If you're gonna fly in the air, you can rotate it with your finger here and make sure it's pointing down for the transmission. And if you're gonna fly on top of water, which we are about to do that now, make sure you rotate it and keep it about 90 to 60 degrees roughly. Okay, so at the bottom here, make sure you install all your cameras, and has a payload release mechanism at the bottom here. Basically, you can release up to 4.5 pounds. And here's the GS2 camera. That's a low light camera with a flashlight on it that dims and brightens, so you can fly this at night. And it does have a built-in anti-collision light on top here. I went ahead and bought this cube light for redundancy because that's required from the FAA for night flying purposes. Part 107, pilot. So this is your battery compartment here. Basically, make sure it's sealed because again, you don't want any water getting in your battery. This is how the battery looks here. Right? It's about 1 pound roughly. Make sure you install it correctly, just like that. Push it in with both thumbs, nice and snug, and then clip back this compartment here with your latch. And don't forget to rotate and close this battery compartment because again, you don't want any water getting inside this drone. But rather than that, it's all waterproof. This is how the battery case comes. I bought a couple extra batteries. Each battery is about 30 minutes of flight time, depending on the weight you're carrying. So in this case, I'm going to demonstrate a life vest and a couple other items, and so that'll decrease your battery life. That's your controller. As an FAA Part 107 pilot, make sure you're highly visible with your helmet on. There's the propellers. They're labeled CW and CCW, right? Make sure your propellers don't have any nicks on it. So CCW and CW, right? For the airflow, make sure everything is nice and smooth. Do not attempt to touch it as it's rotating your motors because it will cut your fingers. So basically push down and turn with the corresponding propellers with the motor because they rotate in opposite direction. So your motors are also labeled CW and CCW. So we're going to install that later on. And I went ahead and bought extra this extension boom for the camera, right? So you can buy this extra if you choose. It pretty much extends the camera down into the water about 2.5 feet, right? I haven't quite measured it yet, but yeah, roughly 2.5 feet. I guess we can go ahead and measure it now, because I want to know for sure. let's see here. We are 12, excuse me. It's about 17.5 inches. All right. Well, yeah, if you want to inspect, do any search and assist underneath the water, if you lost something underneath the water, if you want to do underwater photography, videos, you can do that as well with that extension. And here is, again, I bought this separate. This is a life vest that you can attach on the payload release mechanism of the Splash Drone 4. It's in Mandarin, unfortunately, so I gotta convert that to English. But yeah, this is how it looks. You attach it on the bottom of the payload release, and if someone needs a life vest or emergency items, it can take off and fly to that destination and release about 4.5 pounds roughly, which is pretty impressive. Again, this is all-weather drone. Most drones are not, so it can fly in the rain, in the snow, high winds, and it can also release accessories in a safe manner, obviously. So we're gonna test that out now. Take you guys with me, let you see how that looks. All right, until next time. Okay, so now we're about to demonstrate this payload release mechanism on the Splash Drone 4 here. That's how it looks with the props on. That's how it looks with the anti-collision light that's required for night flights. You can cut that off in the app. It's the SD Fly app. That's how it looks with the floats on there. Gives it that extra cushion as it lands, and then a little bit more clearance as it drives on top of the water. Again, this is all waterproof drone, so you can fly this in the rain and the snow, high winds. Right now it's evening time. Just gonna show you how it looks with the payload release mechanism. You can take off with about 4.5 pounds roughly. That's gonna decrease your flight time significantly. So without the floats, just with the GS2 camera, that camera is for low light. You can put a thermal camera on there as well, and a 4K camera, but this GS2 camera has a flashlight on there, as you can see. It's like an HD camera, or 1080, so it's not 4K. And then again, I bought this Cube anti-collision light. We'll go ahead and cut that on. Gives it that extra as you're flying in the evening or at night. It's gonna press it to where, okay, 1, 2. Have that nice bright flash. Okay. Put a little Velcro on there. And I want to see that strobe looking light. That's what I want. But yeah, if you guys want to buy this thing, as you can see here, this cube light, Loom Cube they call it. It's not waterproof, but I just bought it, put some Velcro on there, gives that extra light as you fly. And then the antenna, because I'm flying on water, make sure you rotate it up with a radio frequency, obviously with the receiver. And if you're flying in the air, rotate it down. All right, so let's go test it out. Here on a nice evening, it's a little freshwater pond here. Got a little fountain. We'll test it out, flying it through that, and then release a couple items. Obviously the life vest, which I could definitely see how this could come in handy if someone's out in the water and they need help. It's attached up to 4.5 pounds with this Splash Drone 4, and maybe they want some bug spray because they're allergic to something, and a bottle of water, which is about 17 ounces. So we're gonna test the load here, and I have this little clamp, makeshift clamp, a little buoyant lanyard. We're gonna attach that to the drone and see how it looks as it flies. If you like my channel, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe. All right, let's go test this out. Okay, finally got that Loom Cube to do that strobe. So as you can see there, even though it's evening time, sun's going down. To fly at night, you got to have strobe lights, anti-collision light on your drone, which this one has a built-in one. And I went ahead and bought that Lume Cube for redundancy, because in aviation, it's all about redundancy. Just in case if one fails, you got a backup, right? Because it's flying. It's going to come down. It's gravity is against anything that's in the air. So safety first. Part 107, recreational pilot. Make sure you do everything within the regulations, obviously. So we're out here, nice, safe. I got my clearance. As you can see, there's no people walking around because that's water. So we're gonna go test this out and see how it is as it flies. I have this life vest on there, so I'm gonna take off with it. And then as you can see how it looks as it flies with the life vest. Give yourself about at least 6 feet clearance, right? So I'm backing up because those propellers are pretty darn sharp. And this drone is pretty darn big compared to the DJI Mavericks and the Phantom, all waterproof. So here we go, we're gonna take off. All right, so someone's out there, they need help. You got a life vest, you're gonna head out to them. And this has a release mechanism, right? See how it looks? See that? Beautiful, right? It's doing its job. Good job, Swell Pro. Again, this is just a test for y'all to see how it looks, right? Over the water. It's performing very well. And then now I'm gonna release. Has a release mechanism on here. Nice, safe release. You press down on this payload release. See that? It releases. Good job, it works. All right, let's fly out. Let's go get wet. That's the whole point of having this drone here, is to test it out in the water. Okay, so now we're gonna record because we want to test it. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, we're good, just doing a test. All right, so awesome. Went through the water. All right, looking good. Nice sunset view. All right, you come back around here. Okay, got a nice little water fountain. So it's doing its job. We're gonna fly right in this water here. Beautiful, see that? So yeah, can your Phantom do that? Can your GoPro do that? Or you can install a GoPro on here. So yeah, all waterproof. All right, so now it can also drive on the water. So we're going to slowly descend. Now we're on the water. There's a little boat mode feature here. Okay, so now we're in boat mode. And we're gonna propel on the water. See that? That's how it's moving on the water. Can you see that there? Beautiful, huh? All right. So, yeah. In this case, with the extension boom, now you understand why it's important to have this extension boom with the camera, because now I'm looking at the screen here and I could see a little bit, but with that extension, now I could see underneath the water, right? And I can inspect things. I can search for things, right? If I lost something, see how bright that anti-collision light is? So that's how it looks as it's driving on the water. Beautiful, right? So not only can it fly in the air, it can drive on the water. This is fresh water. If you're driving it on salt water, just make sure that you rinse it out thoroughly, because it's gonna corrode. All right, see that? That's with the floats. It can also flip. But with the floats on, it can't do that. So that's how it looks as it's driving on the water. Beautiful, love it. All right, so we gotta take it out of boat mode here. So you press this little button here on the receiver. That removes it from boat mode, and now you can ascend. In aviation, we call that go up. All right, beautiful. You can go fishing with this bad boy. Take your fishing line out. You see a nice little bass or shark or something out there. You release the line. And what do you know? You caught your big fish. Oh, beautiful. Right through that water fountain there. Nice. Okay, let's record that one on the... So you can record. This is all HD camera here. But I'm going to record and go through that water fountain again. I think that's pretty cool. Alright, let's go through that again there. See that? Hey, how you doing? Taking my dog for a walk here. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Alright, so now you see, I demonstrated to you how it works with the Splash Drone 4. I'm very impressed with it. It can fly in the rain, snow, sleet, land on the water, and release up to 4.5 pounds. Alright, so let's go ahead and land. Each batter is about 30 minutes long, so that's plenty time. Let's bring it in a little bit closer here. Again, there's no anti-collision light on here, so make sure you're a proficient pilot, because you're gonna hit stuff. See that flashlight? You can dim it. So for night purposes, it's great to have for search and assist. All right, let's bring her in. We're gonna land it safely. This does have a return to home feature on here. So if you're on a boat, see, that gives that extra cushion. That's why I bought the floats on there, because again, it doesn't have any obstacle avoidance. So if you crash it hard, you're gonna damage it, right? So you don't want to damage it. I mean, if you're gonna pay, you know, $2,000–3,000 for an equipment like this, you wanna make sure you take care of it, right? This is how it looks when it's wet, right? Nice and wet. So now we're gonna rinse it off anyway, even though I flew it in fresh water, so I don't know what's in that water, right? It does have a water sample feature on here. You can take water samples, which is another great thing to have for scientific purposes, right? Again, great investment. I highly recommend this drone, because again, it can do a lot more. It does not restrict you to a sunny, ideal weather condition day, right? It pushes you, and now you can extend your reach to help someone out there for good causes, right? All right, until next time. Like, share, subscribe. All right, so we're not done yet. I had a lot of fun. Again, you can do things safely and still have a good time, right? So don't spoil it for everybody. Make sure you do it within regulation. As a licensed pilot, if you're a recreational pilot, you know the rules as well. But safety first. Again, I'm an aviator. I've been in aviation for over 20 years, and it's a passion. I love it ever since I was a kid, flying kites. So now we're evolved because of technology. So let's try to do better. So now we have, again, the payload release. It can take off with like 4.5 pounds, which is pretty impressive for this Swell Pro Splash Drone 4. So I showed you how it looks flying around on the water, and then now we're gonna add 17-ounce bottle of water, because someone's thirsty out there and they're in a desert or something. Or, you know, you get the drift. But yeah, let's take off. So that's how it looks with the 17-ounce bottle of water. You see how it's holding up? Again, I'm over water, so if this thing falls, and it can release, I can release it on this payload release mechanism here. Just want to demonstrate how it looks with the bottled water, 17 ounce. So that person is dying of thirst, right? And they need water right away, or whatever medical supply. You fly it out to them, and then you release it. But in this case, I need my bottled water back, so I'm gonna fly back, nice and smooth. Don't do nothing crazy with the attitude of the aircraft. Nice and smooth, right? Come down nice and slow, right? Cut my flashlight on, you see that? I could see the drone, great. Fly back. And then now I'm gonna release it with the payload release. All right, see that? Come fly back to me. All right, looking good. All right. So nothing crazy, right? Nice and slow. All right, so released it. I'm very impressed. This drone is, I definitely give it a 10 out, well, a 9 out of 10. 10 out of 10 would be if it had obstacle avoidance. All right, so let's go get wet again and fly to this water fountain real quick. All right. Wash off, get a little wet, right? See that? I'm gonna go ahead and take a picture of that on the camera here, on the receiver. All right, wash that off real good. There we go. Took it to the drone wash. All right, that's a good business there. Make sure I patent that one. All right, come on back, nice and easy. Okay, nice open space, GPS mode. Go on down, fly back to me. That's in GPS mode. It's drifting a little bit, I guess because it got too wet. There is a membrane barometer on top of this drone, so it's advised not to get that wet. It's actually drifting a little bit, so let's put it in boat mode. Okay, boat mode, and we're gonna drive it on the water to me. So that's how you do it a little bit safer, right? Got a boat or something, you go ahead and drive it to you, because obviously you can't fly. All right, drive it to me. Uh-oh, cut off the motors. All right, so now that you flew in the water and the rain and snow and sleet and all that salt water, you want to make sure you wash your Splash Drone 4. Give it a nice thorough wash. Take it to the drone wash. So pull out your hose with some fresh water, in this case, and make sure you rotate your rotors there. You don't want to get that corroded, right? All right. Make sure everything, the battery is out, preferably. If not, still in the compartment there, sealed. You're gonna get all that corrosion off of there. Bottom there. Rinse off your cameras. Give it a nice wash for a couple minutes there. Right? And you got your propellers. You don't want to forget those. So this is called a post maintenance, right? After the fact that you flew and everything, you want to check your drone and propellers and all that. Make sure everything is still in good working order, because you definitely want to fly it again, right? That's what we call a post check, preventive maintenance. So not only are your drone pilot but you're a maintainer of your equipment as well. All right, so that's it. You're all clean. You get to fly another day. Like, share, subscribe. Till next time.